Welcome in, Tiger fans, to this episode of Tiger Talk. We had a little bit of a break last week, but man, we are back. We are celebrating a sweep. Jason, how are we feeling today?
Dude, we're feeling so good. Never a doubt, Alex. Never a doubt.
Never a doubt, never for a second. But it was a great weekend for the Tigers. Friday night started out. Gage Jump gave us six innings before that rain delay happened. LSU wins that game 5-1. Offense was good early, maybe not so much late, but they were good early and did enough. Unfortunately, we had to use kind of all of our premium bullpen arms to finish that game out. But what did you see in that game?
I'll be honest, man. The game had me nervous going into it. It wasn't like Ole Miss was going to roll somebody out there on the hill that was going to throw 95 and had the stuff to really shut you down. But Riley Maddox he's been good. He's been good at like keeping you off speed. He had like that sinker ball. The best comp I had going in was like Joseph Gonzalez when he was good, for Auburn. Just a lot of things that ran kind of down and in the righties, through the slider from time to time. But I thought we did well. We actually, knocked him out of the game and got up early and we did enough, man. I thought Jump was excellent. I think Jump was going to give us, because let me see, how much did he wind up? What did Jump wind up going game one? Did he go 7 or
Yeah, he went six full, and then they had the rain delay happen. Now, John Jay Johnson said after the game that they would have rolled Jump back out there for the seventh if if the rain delay hadn't happened.
Yeah. So he went 6 innings, man, and he was cruising. I mean, he only threw 83 pitches. So, I mean, that's a pretty good outing, man, to go out there. And I don't think that he was necessarily. I mean, he has eight strikeouts, gave up 5 hits. I thought it was awesome. 2 walks. Did a great job, but he's just really coming along, man, right now. And I don't know if you consider him the ace of the staff. I mean, I know he pitches game 1, but I just thought he did a really good job for us. And we needed that, man. Like that game 1, it was very easy to go in going, man, we need 3 wins to keep the season alive. And that's kind of a big, way of looking at it with a lot of pressure. So game 1, if he goes out there and I think there was a couple of times early on where he made a big pitch or got out of a jam, and we needed that. So great, just a great game 1 for us. I mean, the end got us all, I think, a little nervous. I think you were maybe hoping not to have to use Griffin Herring in that game. But, because honestly, we used all of our best arms. Christian Little pitched, Ackenhausen, Guidry, Herring. I mean, we used them all to get that win, but, we had to have it, so we got it. And, it was a good way to start off the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, you can't sweep if you don't win game 1. So
That's right, man.
that was a good start to the weekend. And then Saturday they come back. Holman's on the mound. He gives you a little over 6 innings of 2-run ball. I mean, the only 2 runs he gave up with that 2-run home run. But he looked Holman-esque. I mean, he had 9 strikeouts in that game. He was awesome. Bats weren't quite as hot in this game. They got a lot of hits, but not a lot of runs. I mean, it ends up 4-2 when Holman comes out, but then guys that came back after pitching the previous day came back out, gave you good outings. Griffin Herring for the first time pitched on back-to-back days, so that's good to see, to know that he can do that. But what did you see on Saturday?
Man, I thought Holman was so good. I mean, he was so good, man. And it was like, and I don't know the stats on this, but I swear it felt like every batter was down either 0-2 or 1-2. Every single one of them. I mean, just as far as like the strike throwing, the command. I mean, he just looks so good. And he's not going to go out there and ever, you know, pump 95 or 96 and blow you away that way. Um, but he's just such a good pitcher. He's such a good pitcher, man. And again, I think I don't know if we got behind the whole weekend. I don't think there was ever a time that we were behind, right?
No, we led
We
every inning.
Yeah, we jumped out to another lead in this game. And, I think this is Luke Hill hits the home run that puts them back in the game when we were starting to kind of extend a little bit. And I thought Christian Little, I know he only got retired got an out for us. That was huge to come in there and get that big strikeout when he did. I mean, that was massive, man. Like, the guy is just so different right now. And it's just good to see. Herring kind of returns, gives you the back to form 2 innings, no hits. And again, they threw that Liam Doyle guy is really tricky. That Ole Miss starter. I mean, he's just a really tricky guy. I mean, they threw Mallets, who's almost heavy curveball guy, and then Wes Mendez is very hard to hit. And then they threw their closer, the Southeastern Trent. They gave everything they had that game. And again, we score. I think the 5th inning we get 2 runs, but then we didn't do anything after that, and so we just kind of held on. I mean, 7th, 8th, and 9th, we got a 2-run lead, and we get 9 outs before they can score anymore. So just another game where the offense wasn't crazy, but the pitching kind of did what we needed to, and so yeah, man, great way. But the work wasn't over still. So
nope, work wasn't over. Had to come back on Sunday. Kind of figuring out how's Jay gonna line up the pitching. Sammy Dutton ends up getting the ball first. He does pretty well. Gets us off to that good start. But man, Sunday was really about the offense. The offense came alive. I mean, one person we haven't really mentioned to this point is Tommy White. That dude,
we were going to. Yeah.
That dude this weekend just went off. He had 3 home runs, 3 doubles, and a single. I mean, a grand slam on Sunday. I mean, what a way to finish his LSU career. Likely his last game at the box. And what a way to go out. And they left no doubt on Sunday. I think they broke Ole Miss's spirit on Sunday.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're right, man. The offense was you're still in the game right there in the 4th inning, and you're up 2-0, and we get to a point I'm going, man, look, let's at least just get 2 runs right here, and maybe we get anything can happen, but let's at least try to get some runs right here, and we're putting hits together, and then Tanks with the grand slam blew it open, and look, man, I still wasn't at 8-0. I'm still not like relaxed. I'm going, okay, we still got to do it here. And what's odd is that, look, we held Ole Miss to 3 runs. Overall, I mean, to give up 7 hits, 3 runs, that's a pretty good job pitching wise. But what's really strange is that, like, you look through the box score and I don't know that any pitcher pitched great. I mean, Nate, 2 innings, 1 hit ball, walked 3 though. Ulloa looked really good, gives up 2 hits. That last inning, I'd say he probably looked the best for me. Very encouraged by Thatcher Hurd. I thought that was huge, man, for him to get involved again. So I don't think anybody looked great pitching wise, but still we had like a really good effort overall, But yeah, on the weekend, the offense, we had lots of guys that had good weekends. Typically in series in the past, we might have like a couple guys, But Braswell 4 for 13, that's 307. White, that's just ridiculous. 8 for 13 with all the extra base hits he had. Travinsky, huge bounce back after starting the series 0 for 3. For him to come back and put together those two games, I think is really important for this team going forward, as well as Jones. I think just to get that hit in that game 3, I mean, he was 1 for 4 Thursday night, but I think he got a hit on his first at bat, maybe. I don't know, but to get the Golden Sombrero game 2 and things weren't looking great, game 3, that was a big hit he got. So the 2 for 12, although that's not great, I mean, it was important, I think, that he didn't go Sunday and strike out 3 more times again, or Saturday, going into the SEC tournament. But Milam 400 again. Milazzo, I don't know what to say anymore. Just bats 300 on the weekend. But yeah, man. So the offense. Look, we batted 300. This is the first time I remember a weekend series where we batted 300. We were 30 for 100. And Ole Miss hit 198. So pitching did a great job. The offense did enough, had some good performances. We haven't made an error in the last, I want to say 0 errors in the last 4 SEC games. So, and then, one of the error of obviously Milazzo, the end of the game against Bama. Ackenhausen had an error. So, as far as fielding, man, we might have 1 fielding error, which was Tommy Tanks. I think he thought about maybe going to second and then threw it to first. 1 fielding error in 8 or 9 SEC games. So, not from a pitcher or catcher. So, I mean, we're kind of playing complete ball right now.
Yeah, definitely playing their best ball right now, and it's that's important as we get into the SEC tournament. There's a log jam of teams right now that are all 13 and 17. You got 5 SEC teams that are 13 and 17. Between South Carolina, Vanderbilt, Florida, LSU, and Alabama, all right there. And when you look at strength of schedule, RPI, all of those kind of metrics, quad 1 wins, those kinds of things, LSU is behind the rest of those teams in all of those metrics. As you and I were discussing last night, LSU does have, is kind of the hotter team right now. They are playing better baseball than those other teams. The other metric that is not talked about a whole lot, but is because it's new this year, that committee, this is the first year committee has access to, is called KPI.
Mm-hmm.
It's another, it's similar to RPI, but it's got a little bit different ways it does the math. And LSU actually sits top 20 in the KPI, and is ahead of South Carolina and Vanderbilt and Florida in that metric. So it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see how the committee factors that in. How much, because it's first year it's happened, so we don't have any historical data to go on to know how important that metric is going to be. But it's another one, just that kind of, it's another feather in LSU's cap, so to say. But tomorrow, SEC tournament starts. I'm on my way driving there, and we got Georgia. And man, I don't like the draw. I don't like the fact that Georgia's. I mean, you talk about a team that's hotter than LSU right now is Georgia. Georgia is on fire right now, and they've got the best player in the country in Charlie Condon. I mean, Slade Alford, the Mississippi State transfer, he's been awesome for them this year. Colby Branch, that offense is, I mean, probably top 5. I mean, it's definitely top 5 in the SEC, but you've maybe faced some better offenses this year. I mean, Tennessee was probably a better offense, and they swept you. Texas A&M is probably on par, maybe a little bit better offense than Georgia. There's an argument either way there, and you took 2 out of 3 from them. So, it'll be interesting to see who starts tomorrow. I think we'll know how important Jay sees this game by who he starts. Because as you mentioned earlier, Jump only went 83 pitches. Could he come back on short rest? Maybe. Do we go with Anderson, who's been the midweek guy, or do we see someone else? You mentioned kind of maybe Griffin Herring. I mentioned Aiden Moffitt yesterday when we were texting. A lot of options. What do you think? What do you see in this Georgia team?
Well, You won't be surprised by this, but I love our draw. I feel really good about this. All right. And I'm going to tell you why. All right. When I look at our pitching going back like the last month, I'm just using a month, okay, which basically is like the Auburn series when it started. When we face what LSU pitching has done a great job of is really eliminating the other team's best hitter and keeping them down. All right. When we faced Auburn, Cooper McMurray came in hitting 350 with 12 home runs. He was their best hitter. Okay. Ike Irish was hurt at the time. Cooper McMurray went 0 for 9 against LSU with 5 Ks. When we faced Texas A&M, Braden Montgomery came in, I mean, hot as a pistol, hitting 365 with 23 home runs. He went 0 for 13 with 6 Ks against LSU pitching. Against Alabama, Gage Miller came in, leading their team, hitting 383 with 18 home runs. LSU held him to a 2 for 9 with 2 singles. And then Ole Miss, Andrew Fisher comes in hitting right over 290 with 20 home runs. He goes 2 for 11 with 5 strikeouts, a double, and one of them was like a bunt infield hit. So in the last month, going against the other team's best hitters, this is what they've done. Held them to going 4 for 42. That's .095 with 16 strikeouts. These are guys that hit collectively like over 75 home runs, 0 home runs, and 1 extra base hit. So, I mean, yeah, is Charlie Condon good? Yes, he's great. But I think whether it's Nate Yeske, Jay Johnson, I mean, we've done a really good job of taking the other team's best hitter kind of out of the equation and saying, hey, the rest of you guys are going to beat us. And honestly, we've done pretty well with the results. So,
Yeah, I mean that's a good point. That's some next level stats from Jason Armstrong there. I mean that's digging deep. I mean I like it. That makes me feel good. But I think it really depends on, like you said, about who gets the start. I think if Gage Jump, if they do go that way, give him the ball in short rest after not throwing as many pitches as he's used to, on the weekend. I think I feel really good about it. But if we're throwing said Moffitt or Anderson or I mean I don't know if I feel like Jay really wants Herring out of the pen. Um,
yeah.
I,
Like you
I
said,
I'm
Alex,
gonna be able to.
it's about how does he see this game? And
Yep.
I'll be honest, man, like I think of the teams that are log jammed. I think that one of two things. Let's just say that, because obviously if we win the game, it doesn't matter. All right. But let's say we lose. I think one of these two things or both are going to happen. Okay. Alabama's playing South Carolina, correct? And then Florida
Yes.
plays Vandy. Okay. I think
Yes.
one of these or even both of these are going to happen where South Carolina loses to Bama and Vandy loses to Florida. Okay. So if either one of them happens or both, which is very likely, both could happen, that would be South Carolina's 7th straight loss. 7th. Okay. So when you're looking at how does LSU compare with South Carolina, LSU, I mean, look what they've done. South Carolina, 7 straight losses. Okay. Now, Vandy, they lose to Florida. That would mean that in their last 12 games, they would have 2 wins. They would be 2-10 in their last 12 games. And they've lost like 4 or 5 straight series in a row. Those are just 2 teams not playing well at all. I think Florida, that's a tricky one. I mean, you could point to their non-conference and things like that. But I really think the key is the Vanderbilt and South Carolina. If we're worried about not all of us getting in, I think those are the 2 that at least I am honed in on, is going, okay, let's get a win from our friends over in Tuscaloosa, or, if Florida can come back with some magic and knock knock Vandy out in that first round, I think I'll feel really good. And that's even if we were to go out there and drop a 6-4 game to Georgia, whatever, and we're all eliminated. So, but yeah, we can go out there and win and put the whole thing to bed. But yeah, I mean, look, we're going to see how does Jay feel about it? Who does he throw out there? If we can just get to the next day, if we can get to Wednesday, I think we could do some damage, man. Do you know our starting pitch and our 1-2 punch? This is what I love about LSU right now. We have a 1-2 punch right now that I would put up there with, Mississippi State maybe with Cincha and Steven. I mean, who else has a 1-2 punch right now in the conference that are up there with us? I can't off the top of my head. Don't get me started. Arkansas doesn't even know who's pitched. Like, yes, they got a great overall staff, but like, they're still playing with their rotations right now. So they're who we don't even know who their 1-2 punch is right now. So I really like and listen, that same span of the last month, looking at our starting pitching, we have between Jump and Holman, both of them in the last month have thrown 24 innings pitched. Jump's given up 20 hits, 3 bases on balls, 25 strikeouts. Holman 24 inning pitch, 14 hits, 12 bases on ball, 30 strikeouts combined. Man, that's 48 innings, 34 hits, 14 earned runs, 15 walks, and 55 strikeouts. Both of them have identical 2.63 ERAs in the last month. That's 4 starts. Okay, I mean, that's an incredible 1-2 punch. And this is what we have going on for us. This is why I really like what LSU's doing right now. I think it was Skip that says you need 2 good starters and a closer. Is that what Skip Bertman or people say?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or 2.5 pitchers. Okay. Well, when you look at who we've got right now that's pitching well, and again, I'm using like a month for, I'm not going cherry picking, and I'm talking about conference games. In that same span, Christian Little, 11.2 innings, 4 earned runs, 4 walks, 17 strikeouts. See, that's a 3.09 ERA. Ulloa, 6 innings, 2 runs, 1 base on ball, 5 strikeouts. That's a 3 ERA. Ackenhausen, 7 1/3, 1 earned run. Now his walks, he's walking 8 people, struck out 8, a 1.23 ERA, and then Gavin Guidry, and I'm not even counting the midweek. So 4 innings pitched. He's given up 1 hit and no runs, and that's against conference. 4 base on balls, 6 strikeouts. And I talked to you about the changeup from Gavin Guidry. So he has faced 17 batters, and he's struck out 6, 17 flyouts. So 13. He's actually, because I think he did something like he pitched 2/3 of an inning, but I think he struck out an additional person or something, and they got the first. But anyway, out of the all of his outs, they either been a strikeout or a flyout. So my point is that we've got a group of guys right now that we can really count on, and it's not just like they pitched well last time out. This has been for a straight month. So I'll take that. It's not just 2 good starters and a closer. It's 2 good starters. And I didn't even get into Herring. I don't even have to read his stats. That's 2 good starters, about 1, 2, 3, 4 really solid relievers and a closer. So I love the way our pitching is right now and the way we're throwing the ball, and that'll play whether it's a regional or going forward. So yeah, I'm excited about the tournament. I think that if we can get past Georgia Tuesday morning, I think we'll do some damage. I really do.
Yeah, certainly, if you're talking about a regional format, our pitching sets up really well. And if you're a regional host, you do not want to see LSU coming in there as a 3 seed. Like that is that's nightmare fuel for a host. Particularly if it's, kind of a mid-major host that's close to Louisiana, and that those fans are going to travel and they're going to they're gonna flip that ballpark around on you. It could be it could be interesting coming down the stretch. Just win, baby. Get in the tournament and see what happens. But yeah, like I said, I'm on my way to the SEC tournament. It's going to be a great week in Hoover. I'm looking forward to watching the Tigers. Uh, Hopefully more than one game. And Jason, we'll talk again next week after the SEC tournament, after Selection Monday, and talk about what where we're going. What regional what we get put into. So we'll
Can't
see you
wait.
next week.
All right, brother.